Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another Tropical Chatter Vlogs, your go-to source for online information about the Atlantic hurricane season. Let's jump right in as we have two new additions to the Atlantic today. This is, as of 5 p.m., just named Tropical Storm Bret. Beautiful appearance on satellite here. Classic appearance for a tropical cyclone. This storm is getting its act together and getting it together quickly. The Windward Islands down here and northern South America in this area here is going to get sustained tropical storm force conditions. I would not be surprised if they clock 70, 75 mile an hour wind gusts. This storm is on the uptick. They'll be passing through the islands during the Doral max. Cloud tops will be high, storms will be booming, and it will drag down strong winds to the surface. Extremely squally weather. It's a quick moving storm. National Hurricane Center has this moving west-northwest at 30 miles per hour as of the 5 p.m. advisory. You can see it here. They do have it dying out to a tropical depression overnight tomorrow night. By Wednesday, they have it as post-tropical. It's dead by this point here. I would not be surprised if it drags along the northern South America coast for a longer time period, which it looks like it might. It could die out a lot quicker than they have. These small circulations here, they get their act together quickly, but boy do they die out quickly. It's a very slim chance that this tracks north of South America a little bit more here, that it could linger another day or two, but I doubt that. You see why in a second. The shear in the Caribbean is quite high right now, which is pretty normal for this time period. Now we have another new storm as of 5 p.m. National Hurricane Center has designated the system in the Gulf potential tropical cyclone 3. Sustained winds of 40 miles an hour and is moving north at 9 miles per hour. New as of 2017, National Hurricane Center can designate these systems potential tropical cyclones, giving them the authority or giving them the chance to issue tropical storm warnings, which they have in effect for eastern Louisiana. And they also can issue tropical storm watches, which is in effect here for western Louisiana and eastern Texas. Let's check out the satellite image of potential tropical cyclone 3. Let's clear that off of there. It does have a naked swirl. The low level circulation is right here. Most of the cloud tops, all of the cloud tops are on the eastern flank of the storm. That is to be expected. That is what we expected. All this area here, torrential downpours. This is where it's going to drag down the heaviest winds in here. Gulf Coast is in for a hell of a rainstorm pretty much. It won't be very little, if any, tidal surge, coastal flooding, wind damage, very little of all that. This is a rainstorm, and pretty much that is it. It will be a big rainstorm though. Let's go to what the NOAA has out. WPC, they have nearly 14 inches of rain coming to eastern Louisiana, and for most of the Gulf Coast, half a foot to a foot of rain. This is substantial amounts of rain. If the storm tracks a little bit farther west, you can obviously drag this more west here, a little bit more east, which I doubt you can drag this a little bit more east. I doubt that's the scenario. If anything, this is on point. If it's not on point, this will shift a little bit west. That's a significant amount of rain, and people need to prepare for that amount of rain. This is not your normal, 6 inches of rain or 3 inches in a thunderstorm. This is going to be more than a foot of rain, and that's something you need to prepare for. Let's get back to Tropical Storm Bret. Beautiful appearance here. Let's update this as it's a few minutes old, and that'll only take a second to load back up. And while we're waiting for that to load back up, let's take a look at the shear here. This is shear tendencies in the Atlantic. We got our storm here. It's in a beautiful pocket of low shear. This is about as low as it gets in the Atlantic. It is on the scale here 10 knots and below. That's why Tropical Storm Bret is firing and firing quickly at this hour. It's going to run into a wall of shear as it approaches the islands. It might back off a little bit, but we're still talking 25 to 40 to 50 knots of shear, and that will kill off such a small circulation, no doubt about it. If it manages to break through that shear, which I highly doubt it, there is a bit of a break back here. But as you can see, there's another just wall of shear in its path. Storm's going to get killed off, but it will do its job through the Windward Islands, 60, 70 mile an hour wind gust. Now over here in the Gulf, you can see potential tropical cyclone 3 has a nice little window also. It is closing quickly. Shear is going to get the best of this. The shear is going to keep all the storms to the eastern flank of this system. It's going to be a nasty, ugly, lopsided storm. When it moves off in this direction here, all the rain, as we discussed, is going to be to the east of the system. Does not matter where the center goes. Center could go right over top of you, and it could be a breezy, showery day. East of the center is who has to be concerned. You will receive about a foot or more of rain, and that's a lot of rain. There's no way around that. So let's get back to, here we go, Tropical Storm Bret, and here's a new satellite image. Just a beautiful system, wrapping up quite quickly. You can see these thunderstorms booming all around the center. These two bands, classic tropical cyclone signature. It looks just like the hurricane logo. What can you say? It has a bit of a northern tick to it now. I would say it's a little bit more north than west-northwest. There's more of a jog to it right now. It's probably just a jog. It's going to scrape against the northern South American coast. All this area down here, let me get the marker. All this area down here can expect sustained tropical storm force conditions over the next 12 to 24 hours. No way around that. It's going to happen. And let's just touch on this real quick. When you get a storm developing in this area, back in here, in mid-June, that is a very good indicator of an active season is ahead. This is rare. It's very rare, and it's a very good telltale sign that we're going to be in for an active season. So if you're in coastal areas up and down the east coast of the United States, Gulf Coast, Florida, Texas, be prepared. It's going to be a bumpy ride this season, I believe. Now locally, I am in New Jersey, and we are preparing for some very strong thunderstorms getting ready to move through. Let me update that here, update this one here, so we can get the latest images. Look at this line of storms. What a line. Moving through, it connects from Maine, Canada, all the way down into the Carolinas. Just a beautiful line of storms. Many of them are severe. They're packing a hell of a punch. We can expect 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts, torrential downpours, hail. I can't rule out an isolated tornado, especially some of these discrete cells up front. Northern half of the storms, southern half of the storms, that's where the tornado risk is increased. There's going to be very few of them, if any. But the wind damage is going to be the story here, no doubt about it. These are severe storms, and they pack a punch. As this updates here, you can see there's plenty of plenty of warnings out. The entire area is under a severe thunderstorm watch. But you got a warning here, a warning here, warning through Philadelphia. Multiple warnings. Right on the border of New York City, we have a warning. Up through Connecticut, there's warnings. Just about everywhere. South Jersey, you're in for it next. This whole area here, while the storms may lose a little bit of their punch nearing the coast, don't be surprised to see 50 to 60 mile an hour straight line winds, 50 to 60 miles an hour minimum. In some places, are going to be higher than that. There's going to be a few downbursts, a few microbursts. Can't rule any of that out. It's going to be a nasty evening over the next 2 to 4 hours. Then behind the main line, you do have some heavier downpours, ponding in the streets, flash flooding possible as the line passes through. Something to keep an eye out if you have outdoor activities. In this area here, it might be clear and sunny now. It won't be in an hour or two. So prepare for that now. Guys, follow me on Twitter at StormForce1. Keep up to date with all the Atlantic hurricanes, and I will see you tomorrow.